Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm going to use the Creative Bundle add-ons and Panel Cutter to create a uh, asset for like a desert dwelling. So build buildings for like a desert backdrop, like in Star Wars or something. So I'm not using any reference, so just gonna model it as I go. So basically, a basic home or a risk, an R&D building or something or a sci-fi building. I mean, an R&D building where research is going on or something like that, or yeah, a house or um, a storage building, and then some power units. Yeah, so let's try with the home first. So basically the dwelling of the main character and also some sciencey bits. He has his radio antennas and all that stuff and his generators. Okay, so let's build the base mesh. I have removed the floor, so we really don't need that for the modeling. For the model, I mean, auto smooth. And let's add in some more edge loop. Then I'm going to build or create the door here. So I'm going to try for basically just uh, this time I'm not going to stick to quads. I am just going to use ingons because this is hard surface and it can easily be triangulated in the final when the model is finalized anyway. So draw cuts. I'm going to press A and D to so A reduces the bevel and D increases the bevel. Bevel width and space to confirm. So inset the door and Alt S to bring it into the mesh or to push it towards the mesh. And then this one here, I'm just going to grab and push it into Z axis and somewhere like that. So not too much that it becomes aligned with this one. So just a bit of a hint that this is still inclined. So even at this view, you can still view this incident face here. Okay, so with this one, probably design the door a bit. And we'll cut bevel, increase the offset until we see the sharpness, and adjust the width. There we go. So I'm going to place an intersect object here. It's a cube, and transform this into in edit mode, or basically grab it in edit mode and position it door. Select these edges and bevel. I'm going to use segments for the bevel. And then align and duplicate right here. I'm gonna save it first. So dwellings 01, and grabbing this, selecting this, and then selecting this as well. Going to edit mode. Let's use intersect faces. So our active object is here, is this one, I mean. So the last selected object will be the active object, and the rest of the other objects will be used for the intersect function or the intersect faces. So we're going to cut, oh, no, no, not cut, draw. So this is the Boolean inside edit mode. It's using the previously selected objects as Boolean, edit mode Boolean objects in for this active object. You can do slice, intersect, draw. So we'll just use draw and then inset and Alt S, push into the mesh. So we have that. We have our entrance, and we can also use it for the door. I think we can intersect, oh, not intersect faces, add intersect object cylinder view. This is, okay, intersect, save mesh, and then here in faces, clone faces, mode faces, size, and move somewhere like that. And again, let's use it for intersect, draw, and inset. Okay, let's build our, so I'll be sure to use auto smooth. So this, if this is shade smoothed, you can see the difference. So shade auto smooth or auto smooth in creative flow, or it is also in random flow in the mesh. You can also use it right here, auto smooth. Let's build part of the, some sort of antenna at the top. You can also use do something like this. Bevel it first, and then doing the same thing, selecting the our house object, go to edit mode, intersect, intersect faces, union, and let's auto smooth. Okay, we can also do stuff like this. Um, turn that object into a sort of like a pipe, and then we can do in random flow, we can add flanges, custom flange 1, or flange 2. Let's increase the size or the radius. Then we can of course increase the amount. So just like that. So I'm not liking this nutrition. So I'm going to change the design. Just select the boundary edge. So it's okay if you want to redo some parts of the mesh. Better redo it now instead of just adding details. So select loop inner region. Again, that can be found here. And there we go. Select loop inner region. Right click and then click on this. Assign to quick favorites. And then if you press Q. So what it's saying is remove from quick favorites because I have already assigned it to my quick favorites right here. So XF, and then we close this hole and we reattach this edge using J. We select these edges and Control X. Okay, let's remove this as well. I want the detail to be, because this is too small, since my plan, depending on your, the range which you will render this. So if the detail is too micro, you can just remove it because select this one. Okay. At this distance, I still want the detail to be at least uh, macro, like this window and door, and not too small like this one here. Okay. And let's draw another porthole here. And some bevel detail. Press R to reset the bevel. There we go. And let's do a straight line. Okay. Select loop inner region, Control I, and create a line here. Press T, so the cut will go through the entire mesh. And selecting these faces. Okay. Deselecting, probably generate a margin here, like 6. So that's 0.7. So right here is the number that I'm looking at. So I'm also going to do 0.7 here, and then I can attach them using J. So selecting lines again, and deselect the part or the edges that's near the door or in the door. Panel cut bevel. Okay, repeat that. We're going to merge this. There we go. Merge four vertices because there's 1, 2, and 1, 2 vertice. Okay, so I'm not feeling the center line as well. I can also delete that. Control X, this one, and this one. Control X, Control Shift Alt, right click on these edges to select them all, and then press X C to collapse them. There we go. So, and also delete this middle edge here, and also this. Control X, and then this one. Make it reestablish the connection here, and position it here. Cursor selected. Set the pivot to the 3D cursor, and we can scale it like that. Oops, it's not happening. Okay, median point. So this is also stretching. So we'll just grab it. Okay. So instead of opening like that, now our door opens towards the direction and curves like this. Going to inset this. Inset, and try and create this as a panel cut. Oops. Good, it's still macro. We'll probably get rid of this. There we go. So that's that looks better. The portal design, going to like that. So it's this one, just for continuity's sake. There we go. Okay, there's a shading error here. Control T. Because of this one. Just give it a bit of a push. There we go. There we go. Just to fix the shading. Okay, let's add some random stuff. Again, I'll probably press R. I'm going to bevel this. Selecting these faces, and then inset. Okay, maybe later. Let's do the top one first. So because that one deserves to be repeated, I think. Okay, I'm going to save the data. Save. So one mesh data save. So there's a bit of a change with this as well. Script wise, there's no apparent UI changes, but in the script, I've improved it in the script using the script for how it operates. Inset it a bit and then pull it up. Start to bevel this. Mhm. Let's try a round extrusion. So I'm just looking for something that's simple and yet it looks fine. Looks okay with the overall design. Going to add an intersect object cylinder. Make sure it's like that. And also bevel. Let's see the, okay. Going to edit mode. So I can see when I bevel this, I can see the topology of the original object. And I could lighten up like that. So when I boolean it, I can join the objects here. At least join the topology here. Um, let's try and do something like this. Okay. Auto smooth. We could, of course, just keep it as a separate object, but let's try and merge it to the house object using boolean. Going to hide this first. Cursor selected, so when I add an object, it's going to be added here. Oh, you, whoops. And go into edit mode to transform the object or move and scale the object, not in object mode. So it maintains its geometric center, which is in this one, this part here. So I can array them better using creative flow. So something like that. And then selecting the faces that what needs to be arrayed. Control Shift X, extras, fast circle array, origin, some okay, an even number like 6, and then delete this part here. Then we can click this and then the house object. Then we can um, Go to intersect. Actually, let's try and at least give, yeah, create an edge loop here. So at least when we or you try to um, repair this topology, you'd have a an edge here or a face here that captures this inbound. Okay. Intersects, faces, and union. Let's see if there's any errors. There's no error. So this is Unimesh. And let's try it again using this object here. Intersect faces, union. Check for any errors. No errors. Okay, so we have that. And we can create um, the other parts of their antenna. Okay, so if you have a selected face and you draw here, it's not gonna draw because when you have a selected face, then it's going to only draw on the selected faces. Okay, so make sure to deselect. Or if you want to isolate just this one, select this area here. So we're going to make everything Unimesh, and we're not going to use any separate object. This is their oops, I just their antenna, sort of. There we go. And let's create some more details here. Let me see if we can triangulate this. So even if you're into all quads, there's really no need to be like that anymore. So I suggest you start practicing with modeling with just in guns, even if you're not just using it for any practical reasons. Just really relieve some of the stress of modeling with just all quads and have fun with the design using just in guns. Okay, what I'm going to do is probably I should have done it before the maybe I could still do it. Okay, let's get rid of these faces here and selecting these faces, move it like that and like that. There we go. So I can draw around it. Oops, number one for the there we go, and the bevel, and then panel cut this. Okay, we should have increased the bevel. There we go. And panel cut bevel. Let me see if it looks good. And here we're going to create sort of a hatch. and raise it up a bit. Create the handle right here. For faces. Actually, I can just create it out of a cube, selecting this edge as the position for the intersect object. Position it right here. And let's model some sort of a handle, which can be used to open this hatch on the outside. Bridge them, selecting this and then our house. Add intersect faces, union. Okay. So inside he would have stairs. I mean, yeah, stair like that to get out, to get to the roof and then do stuff on the roof. So our model would be somewhere along like our human would be somewhere along like on this size. Or an alien creature. Uh, draw cuts. Okay. Um Final cut this as well. Merged zero vertices. That's good. Join these two, WS and bevel. Final cut. Okay. There's no. I did. Oh, you can do it here. Why not? Distance. Move to. So the bevel cannot be done on this surface. There we go. Probably just because of the surrounding topology. Merge. Merge 12 vertices. Okay, that still looks big for this distance. So that's good. And this one here, going to reestablish the connection and just use this one. Okay, I'm going to try and use random panels for the rest of the objects, rest of the faces. Doesn't work out, we could just Actually, let's select the boundary edges. All the faces we don't need to include in the randomization. And select loop in region. Okay, these faces here. So the subdivision script in the random operators will not work on the n-gons, but it will work on the quad faces, quad structure faces. So random panels. So I'm just gonna try it out. Oops. Random panels inset none. What am I? Restore operator defaults. So we'll try and unimesh this still using merge panel, which means that the results of the random panels will be merged to the source object. And I'm not gonna use subdivision because it will also subdivide the source mesh. Let's just randomize what we get from the original topology, and just I'm going to use radial and just fix the depth or the thickness of the lines or the final cuts. Raise this to 1. This to 5. Let's try walk shortest. Oh, it's too chaotic. Let's just use radial. Doesn't give us what we want. We'll just manually model the detail. So I'm looking for something that works with the entire model. Yeah, this looks good. Not too chaotic. Yeah, let's go with this. Oh, we have that one. I want that. Looks good on this side, but then it doesn't look good on the other side. Okay, we could try it with this one or this one. Okay, let's try with this one. Okay, still Unimesh, and we'd have our panel sections of the original mesh. Panel sections of the structure, and draw something like this one. Let's get rid of the bevel because this is at a slightly weird angle, and just reestablish the bevel after 6 segments is there we go. Final cut bevel, and then we're going to, or I am going to, okay, there's a distortion right there. Let's repeat the drawing and make it extend just towards this. So I'm going to create like an area of the roof where it's kind of like open, and use the room below that uses the natural lighting of the sun. I think this there's a term for this. Six skylight. Mhm. Or down. Yeah, down. So this will be like a, yeah, a skylight, and this will be in the shader. This will incorporate the same shader as the windows. Okay, and do some more stuff. Add intersect object cube, assign it like this, and duplicate, then Shift R to repeat the action, and then we're going to like this, do something like that, just to make sure that the Boolean doesn't do some uh weird stuff with the shading, where the topology is also too weird to begin with when they are joined together. And this is select ball object, this one, and then intersect faces union. There you go. Still Unimesh. Auto smooth. But there's a bit of a shading issue here. So it's gone. If we try and okay, we can, however, just change up the design. Well, it's kind of weird if you have this. There we go. Auto smooth, still macro. So let's just add some random designs all throughout the mesh. Oops. Row cuts E to face the to let the viewport face the face that you have that you want. It can give you weird angles sometimes, but you know, oops. To fix the okay, the merge is too much. To fix the orientation, just press one. Okay, this is trying to triangulate to that. That's why it's causing this shading distortion here. So in order to fix this, we're going to select these faces. I'm going to select these faces and draw an edge there. So this it will now be forced to connect to that. Okay. Control D, Alt J, and then set this to 180 degrees. Oh, we still have the no, I didn't see. It's okay. We can just fix it. Oops. And establish the connection here with this. Okay. Few more random stuff. Where is that part? Okay, this one. Draw cuts. So I'll only repair when the I'll only touch the topology if there's some shading error. Okay, draw something here. We can just move it afterwards. There we go. And I'm gonna test out a vertex color and do the separation of the vertex color using the sharp angles of the edges. Mark sharp. Just to give me a sense of how this will look like with a different color shading through each panels. I guess let's get rid of the mark sharp. This could already work, and the rest of the details can be got or can be optimized using not accentuated using textures. Okay, let's stop it right here. And okay, so this is our door. We have some stuff going on here. This is not a door, this is just a single. Maybe this is probably the comfort room. And there's a bunch of portholes still here as well. Okay, let's try and use try and fix the vertex color. Vertex color pick. I'm going to use this dark one here. And for this one, you're going to use that one. Pick. That's okay if they are separate colors. This one is, I'm going to use the light one. Pick. There we go. I'm going to append the grand shader from my grand shader pack in the store from the store and use it for this model. See what we get. Okay. Append. You can see the append window because OBS Studio cannot record auxiliary windows. Material grunge metal. Going to set the HDRI and using this one and set the film to transparent so I don't see the HDRI. Okay, and give the grunge metal here and try to see what we get. Okay, this is our initial result. Let's try and fix the lighting so it lights up on this area. Okay, you can see the name of the ACR I'm using. This one here, Quarry 03. This is from Polyhaven. Is it still named Polyhaven? Yeah, you can get it there. All of this are from that site, I think. Um, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give the mirrors their own glass texture. Assign vertex color, do not use vertex color. And rename the material to uh, window or yeah, just glass. And then let's edit this. There we go. Okay, and then gonna fix the primary shader of the house. Change this to the vertex color. Control this using color ramp. Okay, let's add some textures here. Past the ambient occlusion and the vertex color. So in this area here, we're going to add texture, multiply, OT, UV, object. So this texture that I'm going to use is a texture generated using random flow. So the random flow was used on a plane and then baked, and then that those details were baked and then normal map. They were baked and then used for tertiary details as tertiary details for the. So this, so that is just the normal. It doesn't look good because we're going to set it to box since we're using object and this is normal. So we're going to, in the colors where it's space, instead of sRG, we're going to set it to non-color. Now it looks better. The screws are too big. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, I think this is better. So that is for the normal. We're going to add the AO next. The color multiply. So the AO, and then so I've connected them from the same mapping so they have the same sizes. So this is a wait a minute, this is color. So this is AO and this is color. Okay. Let's play around with the lighting. Okay, the glass is a bit too clean. Okay, quick dirt and cavity mask, Control C and Control V. Probably gonna use quick dirt on the transmission and see what we get. Oh, still too clean. It's in transmission. There we go. Okay, like that. Let's set this, let's make a ground for this. Cursor to world origin. Just a simple floor object. Control Shift T. I'm going to add the beach texture, the sand, and set this to something like 20. Oops, too big. About 8, still too big. 4, 1, too small. 4, I'm going to add an AO here. So it will create an AO on this part here. Color, mix color, set this to multiply. And look for the ambient occlusion here. Set this to that. And control the factor using the color ramp. And you can see in this part here where this object touches this object, it becomes darker. Okay, not too much, just enough to darken this. And then I'm going to introduce some bumps. Hopefully this works. Some bumps on the, increase the resolution. Increase the size. Okay, this could work. Yeah, let's go with this. And it looks like some part of the house is already covered in the sand. Part right here, we're going to make it rise up a bit. looking at this at different angles. Okay, so there you have it, your simple dwelling using Creative Flow. You can then save this um in your file browser, a folder, not file browser, asset browser, asset browser. You can save this blend file to your asset browser folder, and then you can use this again and again, and then just uh, use it on your scene. You can build like 10 of this, different sizes and design, using the same process I've shown you. Just focusing on the inbound workflow. So doesn't really doesn't really need to be all quads because they're not gonna, of course, uh, bend. So, or if you want some, unless of course you're going to destroy this using physics, then you need to use all quads. But if they're just there as static objects, you can just use ingots, of course. In render, you don't even have to triangulate this like that. Saves you from repairing the mesh when you have to edit it. So just leave it like that. In any render, it's going to render like this. The render engine will triangulate it like this. So you don't really need to triangulate it to get rid of the end, just to get rid of the endgones. Just leave it like that. So it's easier for you when you have to make changes. It's easier for you to repair the mesh, just like I've showed you. Okay. And let me show you the ones that I have made. This is let's add in some few elements here from the ones that I've made. In the product, there's cylinder objects and sci-fi canisters that I made. We're going to asset browser, user library, all, where's that? Okay. Oh no, oh no, properties, asset browser, oh, I thought I user library. There we go. This is from the um product. This is one of my products in the store. So we're going to add this one here. Let's scale it. So let's scale it based on the person, size of the person. Put it right there. Oops. give it different orientation. If they're the same object, these should have the same size, of course. This one here, if you have other stuff to add, then you can add it just to, of course, make the scene more believable. Okay, there you have it, your um, small dwelling that you can reuse every time using the asset browser. Again, you can create five different design of this, and then of course save it as for your asset browser, so you can reuse it again for your mesh. You'd have the house. You can design like uh, other stuff like separate power units. Oops, separate power units that provide power. You can design the cable that attaches to the house. Then you'd have a well, a sci-fi well, which has, of course, um, better functionality than a traditional well because it's sci-fi. Yes, and other stuff like simple like tented structures where the chairs and tents and there are other doodads where your character can go to. Supposedly where character can go to and have a shade and read something and other designs, of course, just to then if you have a complete set that you can name it desert dwellings pack, and then this name the blend file as desert dwellings pack, and then save that blend file to your asset browser folder. Then all the objects inside the blend file, like this one here, these are all inside the same object. Then you can just drag and drop and use it on your scene anytime. The point is you can generate the environment using displacement, then you can just drag and drop the houses and all the other designs. Okay, so yeah, and this is it for this video. I hope you learned something. I'm making this, and if you have any questions, be sure to use the comment sections or the links in the description of the video. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.